Question number 801. Question: who was the first Canadian to orbit the Earth in space? Option A, Chris Hadfield. Option B, Marc Garneau. Option C, Roberta Bondar. Option D, Julie Payette. The answer is option B, Marc Garneau. Question number 802. Question: Habitat 67, a model community and housing complex in Montreal, was designed by which architect? Option A, Moshe Safdie. Option B, Frank Gehry. Option C, Zaha Hadid. Option D, Norman Foster. The answer is option A, Moshe Safdie. Question number 803. Question: the influential Canadian Marshall McLuhan, who coined the term "the medium is the message," was a scholar in option A, media studies. Option B, political science. Option C, environmental science. Option D, sociology. The answer is option A, media studies. Question number 804. Question: how many electoral districts, ridings, or constituencies are there in Canada? Option A, 338. Option B, 208. Option C, 328. Option D, 408. The answer is option A, 338. Question number 805. Question: old age security was devised as early as? Option A, 1940. Option B, 1927. Option C, 1965. Option D, 1932. The answer is option B, 1927. Question number 806. Question: which eastern province has its own time zone? Option A, Nova Scotia. Option B, Newfoundland and Labrador. Option C, Prince Edward Island. Option D, New Brunswick. The answer is option B, Newfoundland and Labrador. Question number 807. Question: what unique feature does the Canadian political system have compared to other democracies? Option A, a constitutional monarchy. Option B, a single legislative house. Option C, direct election of the Prime Minister. Option D, compulsory voting. The answer is option A, a constitutional monarchy. Question number 808. Question: what landmark Supreme Court of Canada decision in 1999 significantly advanced Indigenous land claims? Option A, Delgamuukw v. British Columbia. Option B, Calder v. British Columbia. Option C, R. v. Marshall. Option D, Tsilhqot'in Nation v. British Columbia. The answer is option D, Tsilhqot'in Nation v. British Columbia. Question number 809. Question: what is the main role of the Supreme Court of Canada? Option A, to advise the Prime Minister. Option B, to interpret and apply the law. Option C, to oversee provincial governments. Option D, to review and enforce immigration laws. The answer is option B, to interpret and apply the law. Question number 810. Question: in what year was the Canadian Human Rights Act passed, promoting equal opportunity and combating discrimination? Option A, 1977. Option B, 1982. Option C, 1969. Option D, 1996. The answer is option A, 1977. Question number 811. Question: what major policy initiative is Prime Minister Justin Trudeau known for introducing? Option A, the Carbon Tax Plan. Option B, the legalization of cannabis. Option C, National Rail Safety Program. Option D, enhanced cybersecurity measures. The answer is option B, the legalization of cannabis. Question number 812. Question. The Canadian city that has been officially designated as UNESCO City of Design is Option A, Montreal. Option B, Toronto. Option C, Vancouver. Option D, Ottawa. The answer is Option A, Montreal. Question number 813. Question. In what year did the Canadian government officially apologize for the internment of Japanese Canadians during World War II? Option A, 1988. Option B, 1992. Option C, 1984. Option D, 1998. The answer is Option A, 1988. Question number 814. Question. Which freedom is not included in the Great Charter of Freedoms? Option A, freedom of association. Option B, freedom of peaceful assembly. Option C, freedom of speech. Option D, freedom to petition the government. The answer is Option D, freedom to petition the government. Question number 815. Question. In Canada, who has the authority to make laws? Option A, the monarch. Option B, the Prime Minister. Option C, the Governor General. Option D, the Parliament. The answer is Option D, the Parliament. Question number 816. Question. Which region included Nunavut before 1999? Option A, Rupert Land. Option B, Northwest Territories. Option C, Yukon. Option D, Frobisher Bay. The answer is Option B, Northwest Territories. Question number 817. Question. Which of the following served as Canadian flag over a century before the current Canadian flag? Option A, the Union Jack. Option B, a plain red banner. Option C, a modified Stars and Stripes. Option D, the Canadian Red Ensign. The answer is Option D, the Canadian Red Ensign. Question number 818. Question. The groundbreaking Supreme Court ruling in 1995 acknowledging Indigenous land title in British Columbia involved Option A, the Tsilhqot'in Nation. Option B, the Gitxsan and Wet'suwet'en Nations. Option C, the Nisga'a Nation. Option D, the Haida Nation. The answer is Option B, the Gitxsan and Wet'suwet'en Nations. Question number 819. Question. Canada's multiculturalism policy officially became law in what year? Option A, 1988. Option B, 1971. Option C, 1982. Option D, 2000. The answer is Option B, 1971. Question number 820. Question. Which two prerequisites are necessary to become a citizen? Option A, the knowledge of Canadian history and the English language. Option B, the knowledge of English and the knowledge of French. Option C, the knowledge of Canada's electoral process and the knowledge Canadian judicial system. Option D, the knowledge of Canada and the rights and responsibilities of citizenship and adequate knowledge of English or French. The answer is Option D, knowledge of Canada and the rights and responsibilities of citizenship and adequate knowledge of English or French. Question number 821. Question. Rights of Aboriginal people are Option A, protected under various treaties. Option B, guaranteed by King George III, Royal Proclamation 1763. Option C, guaranteed in the Constitution. Option D, protected under provincial legislations. The answer is Option C, guaranteed in the Constitution. Question number 822. Question. Which city is the capital of British Columbia? Option A, Yellowknife. Option B, Halifax. Option C, Victoria. Option D, Winnipeg. The answer is option C, Victoria. Question number 823. Question: Canada is part of which international group that promotes economic cooperation among major industrial nations? Option A, G7. Option B, G20. Option C, NATO. Option D, OECD. The answer is option A, G7. Question number 824. Question: What unique legal system does Quebec have compared to the rest of Canada? Option A, common law. Option B, civil law. Option C, Sharia law. Option D, customary law. The answer is option B, civil law. Question number 825. Question: What does the right of citizenship entail in Canada? Option A, the right to vote. Option B, the right to live abroad. Option C, the right to a passport. Option D, all of the above. The answer is option D, all of the above. Question number 826. Question: The Fathers of Confederation refers to the group of people who attended which historical event? Option A, the Charlottetown Conference. Option B, the Quebec Conference. Option C, the London Conference. Option D, all of the above. The answer is option D, all of the above. Question number 827. Question: Aboriginal people were given territorial rights for the first time in? Option A, 1963. Option B, 1867. Option C, 1863. Option D, 1763. The answer is option D, 1763. Question number 828. Question: Which of the following First Nation tribes did not become allies of the original French settlers? Option A, Huron. Option B, Algonquin. Option C, Montagnais. Option D, Iroquois. The answer is option D, Iroquois. Question number 829. Question: How many French settlers arrived during 1600s and 1700s? Option A, around 100,000. Option B, around 8,500. Option C, around 7,500. Option D, around 40,000. The answer is option B, around 8,500. Question number 830. Question: Canada's historical decision to grant voting rights to women at the federal level was made in? Option A, 1918. Option B, 1925. Option C, 1916. Option D, 1920. The answer is option A, 1918. Question number 831. Question: Which of the following is a founding nation of Canada? Option A, the Inuit. Option B, the Metis. Option C, the French. Option D, the Vikings. The answer is option C, the French. Question number 832. Question: Sovereign is the? Option A, head of Senate. Option B, head of government. Option C, head of parliament. Option D, head of state. The answer is option D, head of state. Question number 833. Question: The historic Peace Tower is located in which Canadian city? Option A, Ottawa. Option B, Toronto. Option C, Montreal. Option D, Vancouver. The answer is option A, Ottawa. Question number 834. Question: Which province has richest deposit of uranium and potash? Option A, Nova Scotia. Option B, Alberta. Option C, Saskatchewan. Option D, Manitoba. The answer is option C, Saskatchewan. Question number 835. Question. When are men and women equal under Canadian law? Option A. In the matters of religion. Option B. When they are married. Option C. At workplace. Option D. In all circumstances. The answer is option D. In all circumstances. Question number 836. Question. The majority of Canadians identify themselves as option A. Christians. Option B. Hindus. Option C. Atheists. Option D. Muslims. The answer is option A. Christians. Question number 837. Question. Which Canadian city is considered the financial capital and hosts the Toronto Stock Exchange? Option A. Montreal. Option B. Toronto. Option C. Vancouver. Option D. Ottawa. The answer is option B. Toronto. Question number 838. Question. Wayne Gretzky, greatest hockey player of all time. He played for which Canadian team between 1979 to 1988? Option A. Montreal Canadiens. Option B. Ottawa Senators. Option C. Toronto Maple Leafs. Option D. Edmonton Oilers. The answer is option D. Edmonton Oilers. Question number 839. Question. During the Second World War, immigrants from which country were unfairly discriminated in British Columbia? Option A. Italy. Option B. Austria. Option C. Germany. Option D. Japan. The answer is option D. Japan. Question number 840. Question. Which Canadian territory has the smallest population? Option A. Yukon. Option B. Northwest Territories. Option C. Nunavut. Option D. Prince Edward Island. The answer is option C. Nunavut. Question number 841. Question. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police, RCMP, was established in which year to maintain law and order in the Northwest Territories? Option A. 1873. Option B. 1885. Option C. 1896. Option D. 1904. The answer is option A. 1873. Question number 842. Question. The Fathers of Confederation refers to option A. The signatories of the United Nations Charter. Option B. The drafters of the Canadian Constitution. Option C. The delegates of the Charlottetown Conference. Option D. British monarchs at the time of Confederation. The answer is option C. The delegates of the Charlottetown Conference. Question number 843. Question. The Canadian city that played a pivotal role as the terminus of the Underground Railroad is option A. Windsor. Option B. Toronto. Option C. Halifax. Option D. Vancouver. The answer is option A. Windsor. Question number 844. Question. The economic and cultural phenomenon known as the Calgary Stampede celebrates what? Option A. Canada's technological advancements. Option B. Western Canadian heritage. Option C. Maritime traditions. Option D. French Canadian music. The answer is option B. Western Canadian heritage. Question number 845. Question. The Royal Proclamation of 1763 is significant for what reason? Option A. It established the basis for negotiating treaties with Aboriginals. Option B. It declared Canada's independence. Option C. It was the first Constitution of Canada. Option D. It marked the end of the French and Indian War. The answer is option A. It established the basis for negotiating treaties with Aboriginals. Question number 846. Question. The Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms guarantees the following rights except Option A. Freedom of expression. Option B. Right to live and work anywhere in Canada. Option C. Right to a fair trial. Option D. Right to free health care. The answer is option D. Right to free health care. Question number 847. Question. In 1985, Canada reinforced its cultural and economic ties within the Commonwealth by hosting Option A. The Commonwealth Games. Option B. The British Empire Games. Option C. The Pan American Games. Option D. The Commonwealth Heads of Government Meeting. The answer is option D. The Commonwealth Heads of Government Meeting. Question number 848. Question. Which province leads in granting women the right to vote? Option A. Alberta. Option B. Ontario. Option C. British Columbia. Option D. Manitoba. The answer is option D. Manitoba. Question number 849. Question. What does the term the Great White North refer to? Option A. Canada's Northern Territories. Option B. Canada's snow sports. Option C. Canada as a whole. Option D. Canada's Arctic policy. The answer is option C. Canada as a whole. Question number 850. Question. In 2015, Canada announced its goal to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by a specific target year under Option A. The Paris Agreement. Option B. The Kyoto Protocol. Option C. The Montreal Protocol. Option D. The Vancouver Declaration. The answer is option A. The Paris Agreement.